Hi everybody, I just wanted to go through some practice of how to draw Newman projections from some skeletal structures. So I was going to start with this problem where we have a skeletal structure and I'm going to show you how I usually approach this problem to draw the Newman. So I wasn't told which direction to look down, and that's important. So that is information I would have to tell you. And we're just going to make the assumption that we're looking down the C2, C3 bond here. So again, that is information I would have to give you so you would know what direction to look down. Okay, so the way I approach this is I look at this one carbon at a time. And we're going to start with carbon 2, which is right here. And I see that I have a wedge, but I don't see a dash. But I know that I can't have one without the other, so I'm going to go ahead and add the dash. And since I didn't see it, I know the atom bonded here is going to be the hydrogen. And a common question that I get is, how did I know to put the dash on the right side? It doesn't matter. I could have easily put the dash on this side and it wouldn't have changed anything. So whichever side that is your personal favorite, go for it. It's not going to make a difference to the problem. Okay, and then the next thing I do is once I know, and then on the carbon 3, we'll go ahead and add the wedge here. That should also be the hydrogen. So the important part to remember when you're adding dashes and wedges to structure is to make sure your dashes and wedges are always side by side. That's how you know you're doing it correctly. If they're not side by side, that is going to mess up your problem or your Newman. So the next part to this is now I'm going to look at one carbon at a time. So I'm only going to focus on the front half of the structure where my front carbon is, which is carbon 2. So that's my front. My back carbon is going to be carbon 3. And so if I look at the atoms bonded to carbon 2, again, ignoring the back carbon, I look for a Y shape. So if we think about this, Y, the letter Y looks like this. And my Y can be one of two directions. It can be Y up or it can be Y down. And the V of the Y, or like where literally the V part of the Y shape is, that's going to tell you where your dashes and wedges are. So that's what I look for when I start drawing my Newman. That is a terrible dash, but anyway. So if I look at my Y shape or the front carbon, I see the dash and wedge are facing up. So that tells me that my Y is up for the front carbon. And then I just add my compounds, or the substituents off of the front carbon. And again, that front carbon is the intersect of the lines here. And it's easy to see that going straight down is going to be a methyl group. So I can put methyl here. I could also write this as CH3. I could also just not write anything because it's implied in a skeletal structure that there is a carbon there. But I usually just put the alkyl abbreviation for methyl. Now I need to figure out what is left and what is right. It does matter what you put on the left and on the right side. So there's a couple ways you can do this. One of them is with a model kit. That's usually really straightforward and easy to use. The other trick I have to looking at this is this arrow. So the direction that I was told to look down. We can see that this arrow is on the left side of the entire compound versus the right side would be here. So if the arrow is on the left side, that means my dashes are also left. So your perspective arrow will tell you where dashes are. So again, the arrow is on the left side of the structure, so that means my dashed compounds or substituents should be on the left side of my compound, or my Newman, excuse me. So that means the hydrogen, because it is dashed, should be on the left, and my bromine should be on the right. And that completes my front carbon. So now we're going to look at the back carbon. And so I'm going to draw, that's very zoomed in. We're going to draw the big circle, and that is the back carbon. This big circle is the carbon. And then I'm going to look for my Y. I see my dash and my wedge are downwards, and so that tells me that my Y is down in the back. And the thing pointing straight up is going to be a methyl group. And then again, my arrow is on the left side of the structure, so anything on a dash should also be on the left side, and then that leaves hydrogen here. And that is my Newman projection.